What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? Yes, that's Lore. You see, you can see her. I liked this is like one of my favorite photos because it's got mom and Brandon in the frame. It's got Lori snubbing her nose up at everyone, but I'm sure especially them. Um, this day was significant for me in the sense that it was the first time I really got to see her, like, respond to, well, the severity of the situation, I mean, it was so heavy, and, I mean, we were all looking at her, not just Nate running up on her and chat in Hawaii, this is like, "Hey, you're having to face these accusations, these allegations about your children being missing." And not just that, but, my uncle Charles had been dead already at that point in time, 6 months. So, it was like a very high, tense, high anxiety, moment for me, for sure, but I'm so grateful that I was able to, um, just to be able to watch it on Zoom, and not have to be there, but anyway, so, hey, how's it going, everybody? I hate that I'm in this bubble. What's going on? I'm in a bubble, I don't know, let me fix this real quick because it's gonna bother me. Okay. No more bubbles for me. How's it going, everybody? I'm so glad to see you guys. Hey, Trace. Hey, Fancy Nancy. I haven't seen you in a minute. I was not worrying, but I was wondering about you the other day. Hey, Roxy and Natalie. Hello. Hello. Hello, Divergent. It's good to see. Happy New Year to you guys too. And Atriva Levesque. How's it been? It's so good to see you guys. Hey, Angela. Tried and true, huh? Always see you. Thank God. I'm glad. Sugar Butt, yeah, Sugar Butt is one of my favorite screen names. It's just Sugar Butt Starburst, you know, I love it. Hey, Mad T, Mad T. All right, got it. Hello, Nina. I need to check my phone. I have not done that today. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm looking forward to talking to you though, and I'm glad that you have the same kind of like interest in these occult or cult, one and of the same pretty much. Groups, these people, these societies, these organizations, they are mysterious, aren't they? Not secret. They definitely need to let the upper management know that they're not being very secret. Their crazy's coming out everywhere. They can't even tuck it in anymore. But I'm looking forward to talking to you more. Hopefully, you can get my butt in gear and on track. That's all. I have so much information and research. I don't know what to do with it. I'm just like, and then when I put it together, it just looks like a wiry, un, un. What's the word I'm looking for? Already, here we go. Unrecognizable or not efficient way of jumbling crap together. It doesn't make sense. I'm just like, it's so confusing. But I mean, it's got to be done. I almost wrote on my Substack last night. Almost. Really, Julie Fleming says, really wanting to hear this timeline. Glad I'm here early. Yeah, I'm glad I'm here on kind of early. It's more early than normal. I tried. Usually here really late, so I do apologize for that. New Year. Hey, NF Mom from Wyoming. Yeah, Wyoming, I thought of cold. And so it's wow, it's already dropped 27 degrees here. Yeah, I looked at my computer earlier and on the corner it said, that it was 77 degrees, but it had a warning, a wind advisory. And I looked out at the camera, I looked at the camera and I was like, okay, no wind. And then I, looked at the warning and everything, and it said we have tornado warning, advisory, and freezing. I was like, "What? What's going on?" And it's freaking hot here. It's just muggy and nasty as usual. And Anyway, so it's supposedly blowing through right now, and they said something about power outages. I was like, "Oh, of course, I don't need any help in that department, they're knocking me offline or anything." But, so I'll have to run my water tonight. Anybody that's within this area or, dealing with the sudden cold temperatures, we're not used to this, so just don't forget to, run your water a little bit. And that's, the more you know. You got your coffee going on, Donna? Awesome. I need some. Hey, Sonia. I'm at work, but I'll try to get back on because I love some Kresha on a long shift. Oh God. Oh man, I put Donna to sleep most times. I'm like, I know I do sound kind of I sound kind of monotone all the time, and I hate that. Hate it, hate it, hate it. But it's good to see you guys. I'm so glad you are here. Did anybody oh, hey, Alpha Femme. I just happened to see your name when I was flying by. Hey, Trace, too. I don't know if I think I said Trace, but hey. Hey, girl. Um, Alpha Femme X Teen. Hey, y'all. I've missed the last few, but it's good to see you. When are you going to start your podcast? Ever since then, I think about it all the time. I think about you and your podcast, but I understand. No pressure. Just it's a lot. But has anybody watched Colby's, his video, video about growing up, his childhood growing up. He shared some things that I didn't even know. I was like, wow, I just always thought that Lori was always religious. And it's interesting because Colby says that he has no memories of church and all that growing up, and not until later. It's like she got more and more extreme the more time went on. And anyway, so and I find that interesting as well in Melanie Pulowski. In her case, Brandon has testified that he was the one that was more religious, wanting to go to church and everything, and Melanie Pulowski was not wanting to. But it's not like they did anyways, if you really think about it. They just went to temple. Temple's different than the regular church, in my opinion. From my research, it's different. It's like, hey Lynn, how are you? Lynn the good Bowen. All right. I just happened to see that too. Glad you're here. Hey Melanie Lewis. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's eye-opening for me, just to hear. It's like when we hear things about, if we were to hear from like Chad's family and not just Julie Damn Rowe, right? Which I found some interesting stuff just before I came on. I haven't even got to read it all. And it was posted December 28th, 2019. And I was like, interesting. That's right. The same day that Julie Rowe, was defending Chad publicly. Really, what I think she was doing is because I think she's part of this secret society, the system. Um, she was doing like any of these people do, and they just do their shameless plugs. And she's like, "All right, got to get it while the getting's good." They market, they market. I'll tell you that. And so no other way than to, most people would think, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want to be linked up with somebody that's, you know, could be no end up being notorious and a killer," basically. So I just find it interesting because the more and more I learn about the secret societies or these whatever shadow groups, the more I am understanding why, like what each role of these characters, why they did what they did, why they do what they do, basically. Um, and some of them are there to confuse people. Some of them are there to throw off the scent. Some of them are there to shameless plugs, and um some they'll bring like a grain of truth, but they don't bring the whole truth at all, and they live in denial for the most part, at least according to my perspective. They are very they're just not very stand-up people. Definitely freaks me out that they were around my family and could have stopped, could have been a whistleblower, could have done something, anything. Come on, especially the kids, okay? Charles, I get it. He's an adult. He had he had his own choice whether to be there or not. But the kids, they had no freaking choice at all. And they you trust your parents, you trust your mom, you trust your dad. You okay, you just do. And people like Lori and Chad and other people around the world who have off their children, that's a really huge betrayal of trust. That's your child, that's your children. They depend on you. They look to you. That's another thing that I learned from Colby. And I never got the boyfriend comment before. I've always been trying to figure that out, but it's, because there were no boundaries and that Lori leaned a lot on Colby and relied on him to be like another adult in their relationship when she was ultimately supposed to be his mother, still to this day, and she still is not. And I can relate with that. I really can. Okay. So that made sense to I was like, oh, okay. I get it now. It wasn't like sexual, I hope not. I don't know. But I'm just saying, at least not on Colby's part. But when you're a child, you're not equipped with those kind of tools or those that wherewithal to be your mom or your dad or your parental figures bro or homie or their friend. That's not the and so but that plays into what Megan has been saying all this time, and that's a good example of it, what Colby was explaining, is the no boundaries, the lack of boundaries, the enmeshment. Dr. John's talked about it too. It's very interesting to me. It's very interesting to me. And yes, it also reminds me of Tylee and how she was at the police station with Melanie Gibb and her mom, and she was calming her mom. She was the voice of reason. She was the more mature individual there. And I mean, that's so sad. It's so sad because those kids had nobody. Those kids had nobody. And that just it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Big time. Yeah, they do follow the nutcase, whichever nutcase, it applies to all of them. It does. You know? I do wanna let me pull that up real quick, but what I was saying before I cut myself off is that, that if people besides Julie Rowe and maybe Eric Smith, would speak in behalf of Chad, yeah, I mean, just more maybe his family. It would be nice if we could hear from some of his family members, but I think that's part of that secretive society, and I'm not saying every one of them. I'm not saying for sure, I don't know. I'm having to I'm having to size things up with what I have, you know? And I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from, where's source. I'm still trying to find it so I can put my finger on it and so I can identify it and so we can build from there because not until basically like you can't move forward until you identify the problem. If not, we're just another story. We're just another tragedy that happened in my family or to the next family, to the next family, to the next. It just is going to continue and continue and continue. And I can't stand it. So I'm all about let's get to the root of the problem. Let's snuff this thing out because then and only then can you acknowledge it. Maybe that person or that whatever everybody else acknowledge it if there's any fault or anything. It's like you can't get that person or well, I'll say that person because an organization is only as good as its leaders, who are enforcing policies and stuff, if you know what I mean. But I mean, not until it's acknowledged can we move forward. That's it, I can point at it all day, you can point at it all day, but I mean, and that's all we can do. That's kind of handicap, that's like one arm behind the back, but you still are crippled in the sense that you don't really quite know what you are looking at, uh, the problem, the whole problem. You know what I mean? So I'm just having to I'm relying on a lot of circumstantial evidence, I guess, right? I mean, besides the evidence physical evidence, that's been shared and, in the court twice already. So, I mean, I rely on that too. I rely on the things that Lori, Chad, and others have said. And when I hear the same kind of phrases again or the same language, rhetoric, whatever it is, when I hear that again, it's troubling because I mean that triggers me and I'm just like, why I understand that birds of a feather flock together, and that is point in case, it is a point in case because it matters. Because these ideals are not they did not just come from Chad and Lori. They didn't just come from Chad. They came from somewhere. And I found them in other places all over the internet already. Talking about the Church of the Firstborn, talking about, and I think that's just a secret society name. I mean, I've even heard that from other people. I've read that. Did y'all see also the Mormonish podcast with Ron? Oh, I can't remember his name right now. His last name Yorsberg or something like that. They did it on multiple moral probations, and I was like, it's so validating too because I might not be able to articulate it, but boy, I pointed it out. I found all these things in their scripture, in their world. Whether they're old doctrines or not, that's okay, whatever. That's to the rules they choose to follow or that they, you know, think they have to follow. Um, what can I do? Whether I can't sit there and say, "Oh, that's old" or "That's new." Therefore, it's not. You can't touch it. Okay. I mean, Mike Stroud was pushing these ideas. So many others. I'm not just going to lay it on Mike Stroud. There's so many others who are pushing these ideas, who are free and teaching your children. So that's scary all in of itself, right there, straight up. Let me send this to my computer. We'll get to that timeline. What I'm gonna do is just basically read from the Chandler docs. I was looking for something for Chris, my friend Chris, if he's in here, hey, or if you're on the replay crew, hey. And oh, I actually forgot to send you those screenshots. Okay, but so it got me looking in the documents again, and I was like, okay, well, this will be good. We can just kind of read from the FOIA docs. Let me shush so I can send this to myself. I can't think out loud or think out loud. I just can't listen to myself. Come on. Did I send to the right one? I think so. Am I answering myself? I do believe. Come on. I thought it was already open in Chrome. Damn it. Open a damn Chrome. That's why I didn't send it. All right, let's try this again. Send to your devices. Oh, I sent it to my other one. Maybe. Allegedly. All right, let me open that. Yeah. Okay, but I do wanna grab this comment real quick because it's interesting and I remember seeing this name before, on LDS Freedom Forum, so I think at least let's read it, and I can't wait long enough to get to I have to wait till after this is over to read it if I don't read it to you guys. Did it save? I don't think it did. Let me go back to my hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's get out of here. Alright. Alright, well, I won't be able to pull it up on the screen, but I will have it right here. I just so happened to look under this actual, I looked under this date because of this paper, I looked up documents earlier, and so it pulls it from all different dates. It just shows you a bunch of documents. It's grouped and keyword search, and so I couldn't, so to get to it, I had to go to the date. So I put July 2021, and then I found this comment. So I was like, crap, see, this is why I never get anything done because I sit here and I chase breadcrumbs all day over and over and over again. Patty's voice is annoying. Yeah. Who's Patty? Oh, KJ. Jesus. Oh, thank you. You scared me. I mean, not scared me, but red and oh my God. I miss you. I do. Thank you. He knocked me off Not that it don't take much to knock me off of my attention span, okay? But thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I'm not gonna cry this time, okay? I'm not gonna do it. I did that last time, and so thank you for everybody who, just listened to me. Thank you, okay? Oh my god, I'm just like, "Oh, I need to delete that." But there's a few that actually reached out um, and I appreciate that. KJ reminded me of community and love and support and all the things, okay? But, I hope that you and Mr. Wayne and your family are doing well, and I hope it's not cold like it is getting here. I can feel it in my legs. I can feel my legs getting cold, but thank you. And I'm appreciating the fact that you were I mean, like, that you started to, like, dig not started to, but you know what I mean. Like, you're digging into Tim Ballard, okay? There's so they're so much more connected than I think more than the public realizes, I do believe. I just find it disturbing. It bothers me how connected. So it kinda I feel very personal about, like, The Sound of Freedom and the misportrayal or the misinformation that it spews and that it lines their pockets every time, like, it makes me feel like it's the biggest disservice to Tylee and JJ, whether Tim Ballard was present at any of these gatherings, if you know what I'm saying, or not, I will never know probably, but I just the fact of, the exploitation that goes on, I think we've been married before in a previous life, that, I was listening to an, interview from Mormonish podcast from Bernadine McCandless from back whenever I was at Lori's trial, which this will help me get to Lori's next trial. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I have a place to stay, or we have a place to stay. Yeah, I got to get there, right? And then maybe get back. I'll hitchhike. I don't give a shit. If I'll come look for me in the damn desert. Okay. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, okay, so I'm have the comment, right? And so this is from Onsdag, which, it says well-known member, and I have it saved from July 31st, 2021, but it's actually from y'all know, I've been digging into Julie Rowe, so a lot more than anyways. So this post, see, I don't know if Onsdag posted this in Web Sleuth, or I don't know, I haven't got to dig into it yet, or if it was on another one of those Mormon forums, so I think it is Web Sleuth because I see another username. Anyway, so it's from December 28th, 2019. So this is right as the news was coming out, this about the kids. This is right as Julie Rowe and Eric Smith, did their disinformation campaign, to defend Chad. Don't forget Julie Rowe's husband at the time, Jeff Rowe. I don't think his mom cared for him too much. Jeff Rowe. Anyways, um, so this, I mean, his name appears in what I believe are the rituals. Like they are assigned these different names. Okay, Phoebe, uh, Elena, James, all the names, okay? And the way I've seen it online or whatever on other forums, other platforms, other like academia or these papers that these people write, just like Chad was doing, okay? I mean, it tells how many bazillion people are in the world. Just like Chad was doing there's this many zombies in the world. Instead, it would just say however many billion and whatever. It just Chad and Lori or Chad, whomever, just they put zombie to it. This is how many zombies are in the world. Well, I've seen the same kind of theme, I guess you could say. Another thing. So sorry, I've just been finding some things. But, Chad Daybell wrote that Train's Dream in 2018. Okay. The Train's Dream is very curious for a lot of us. KJ, you read The Train's Dream. I'm so sorry, and thank you. She did well. I mean, do have that video uploaded, and I mean, you can listen to it. It's The Train's Dream by Chad Daybell from 2018 that was posted, and there's a lot of people who have tried to, analyze it. Some people say, or I read on the LDS Freedom Forum, excuse me, that they found it interesting because Chad was talking about a 060 locomotive, a Colombian Colombian locomotive, and that it was not a train that would transport passengers. And I was like, interesting, right? I mean, so just looking at other people's analogies, just trying to analyze what I or did not understand for sure back then, but I'm starting to understand more and more, and I know it's code talk. I mean, we know that they do use code to talk, from officers who've investigated this case, who've testified, who've, prosecuted everybody, So, I do believe that this is how it happens in plain sight. This is exactly how this happens in plain sight. I think his books, Chad's books, I think Julie Rowe's books, Mike Stroud's shit, all their thing, all the stuff that they spew, it's just like blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, what? It's like Snoopy's teacher. I mean, I'm sorry, Charlie Brown's teacher, and it's wah, 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 right? And I'm just like, it's just not that damn interesting. But this is, I believe, how this slips right under our noses all the time. And I mean, because these things have been going on forever and a day. And I mean, that's how they thrive and continue. And it's how they went from the Knights Templar to what we are now, what we see in society today with Sean Diddy Combs, with Tim Ballard, okay, with just these successful people who are surrounded by yes men and billionaire mentors who, offer a contract maybe and say, would you like to be a millionaire, a billionaire? What would you do, to be rich and famous and all the things? But yeah, so I found in a Freemason service, not service, in a Freemason, what do you call it? Initiation, where there's the conductor. There's an actual conductor. And I'm like, well, trains they have conductors. Woo woo, if you think about it. And so I think they're using just a mix match, a modge podge of this and that, and they throw it all into the same pot. And then here we are going, what? Because they relate so many of these terms that only other like-minded people are going to understand. Okay. Like where to gather, when to gather, how to gather, you know, and this we're moving into this part. So Onsdag said, and it was said well-known member, but they said on December 28th, 2019, hi everyone, I'm new here, but have been following this case for a few days now since learning about it. It truly is heartbreaking. I'm not entirely sure how much I should be sharing here so as not to be breaking any rules. But since the name of Julie Rowe has already been brought up in this thread, then I feel somewhat more comfortable in sharing at least a little bit about some things I know. I'm sorry. It's different. It's like it's written backwards in backwards language. Y'all know Aleister Crowley, right? That's what he did. He like learned everything backwards. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. If these people follow that type of teachings or whatever, then, well, there you go. All right. Then I feel somewhat more comfortable in sharing at least a little bit about some things I know in the hopes that perhaps it may be of use in finding the children and other persons of interest. I'm like, okay. So it says Julie Rowe, with the help of others, founded an organization, and I've been timelining this thing too. Okay, let me start over. Julie Rowe, with the help of others, founded an organization a few years ago called the Greater Tomorrow Relief Fund. which has since, gone, it's defunct. Okay. If you do a quick Google search, you'll find their website. Julie founded this organization with the intent of it being a means of providing quote unquote disaster relief. Her idea of disaster relief, though, is something of an end days apocalyptic I don't know how to say this, Teotwaki? I've never seen this word in my life, scenario. And her plan was slash is to put in place the infrastructure. Sounds like Tom Harrison right here. The infrastructure, supplies, organization, and manpower needed to help quote unquote rescue and bring people from a broken down dystopian world to quote unquote cities of light. I was like, well, son of a bitch, where they'll find peace and safety. Remember how Lori, and I mean, yeah, you do have to kind of get philosophical or metaphorical in this stuff, but JJ's safe and happy. I'm just saying, in plain sight. They'll find peace and safety. In other words, something of an underground railroad system. If you look at the Greater Tomorrow Relief Fund website, you'll see at the bottom of the page that one of the stated goals of her organization is to provide quote unquote places of safety. I don't know how many people are involved with her organization or what resources they have available and put in place already. But I fear and suspect that this organization may be helping to aid and abet some of the individuals involved in this case. I'm right there with you, Onsdag. My own opinion, obviously. I'm not an uh, okay. I'm not an insider or anything, just a very concerned individual who has studied some of Julie Rowe's claimed experiences in the past, found a pattern of deception with her accounts, and tried to warn people off from following her. Again, these are just my own, and then I'm gonna flip the page, but I wonder if this is the person that created that 68-page document that I've been promising to share with you guys. I'm almost finished with the damn editing. Almost. I just finished my intro. Okay, so it says again, these are just my own. It's okay. Okay. Hold on. It's a different screenshot, so it's how. Okay. Again, these are just my own observations and opinions. I really do hope and pray answers will be found and that the children are safe. Okay. And then it says another post. It says edit duplicate post, also edited to mention that Julie Rowe's organization, as I understand it, has several quote unquote safe houses and properties that have been donated to them. Julie's own personal home is said to be one of such safe house that was donated to her or the organization. And then it says in capital letters MOO, whatever the hell that I'm not good with acronyms. So and then somebody, Wiley Coyote from Northern Virginia, said underneath it, and it was about a new podcast, Chad Daybell, December 27, 2019. We would like to announce our new podcast, Eyes Open. This channel will focus on current events and then it stops. Okay. And then so this person, Wiley Coyote, says, well, and it's cut off, so it's not going to be a full statement. It says, well, I don't know. I can only say what my spirit tells me, and my spirits tell me she is, and then it cuts off. And so from her website, I pulled up, she had this song called Adrenaline. And anybody who's doing research into this occult, this secret society type stuff, then about, I'm going to call it Drano because it's an offensive word that YouTube does not like, and they will strike me down. But it starts with an A and it ends with a chrome. Don't type it. Okay. But it's interesting that she had this song Adrenaline by, who's it by? I'm sorry. It's called Believer. And it says album Kings and Queens. Interesting. Artist is Audio Adrenaline. So if you know what the Adrenals do. Again, like I said, I think that they're talking in plain sight right here. And I'm not scared, but I have been in the past. I've been fearful or just intimidated. Like, I don't want to be called a conspiracy theorist. But then I'm like, F it. I would rather be a conspiracy theorist than a dumbass. Just saying. I'd rather know that I use critical thinking. Okay. Woo. Is that all you got? No, but they will also deplatform one who speaks out and expresses their critical thinking skills. They don't like people like me and people like you who use our critical thinking skills because we are less likely to control, in my opinion. Okay. So yeah, and so I took pictures from the website and it says like copyright Julie Rowe 2015. I just find it interesting. And I'm saying all this because this is something I don't remember ever reading, even though I've circled things. I don't remember it. Okay. I don't have a good memory these days, but I find it interesting because in Julie and Chad and Tim Ballard, and even I remember hearing Lauren, the Mormon Stories podcast that Lauren from Hidden True Crime did with Megan Connor, who's Lori's cousin, right? And Mindy Caldwell. They did the expose thing on Brother Tom's Harrison, Visions of Glory, who was meeting with Chad Daybell, was meeting with Julie Rowe in his Salt Lake City office. Okay. I mean, Chad's pretty cheap, in my opinion. Did he portal there? Anyways, but Tom was allegedly teaching Julie and Chad how to portal, how to remote view, how to use one's mind's eye and spy on people. And I've caught many things that Julie has said about spying on people. And I'm just like, oh my God, to think about somebody being able to spy in on you without you being aware. Like you're in your home, you're not outside, or whatever. I'm just saying this is this phenomenon that they're saying that the alphabet agencies have. Yeah, well, no, it didn't really work, but it really did. Ask Chris. He's been doing a lot of studies into this. Okay. And so whether it's a phenomenon or not, I'm not here to debate. I'm just saying just the image, the just the thought of somebody being able to spy on. I wouldn't do it to anybody else. So I wouldn't want it done to me. But these people don't have boundaries and they obviously, you know, are shitty people. Some of them, most of them, a lot of them. Let's just say that. Thank you again, KJ. Let me grab this right here too. Sorry, yeah. Oh, right here. I pushed the wrong one. So I mean, right here we have Tom Harrison's influence, on Julie Rowe, Tim Ballard, Jody Hildebrandt, Chad. And I mean, I don't know if Lori ever met him in person. I don't know if she would meet with him. I don't know if he did these training classes for more than just Chad and Julie. Or, I mean, I mean, we have priesthood blessings that were printed out or that came with the lawsuits from the women who are suing Tim Ballard. And I mean, these two men right here, it's interesting because the more and more I'm learning about these two, the more and more that has, been included in the lawsuit against Tim Ballard from these women, where there's claims of, oh, you were Elizabeth Tilley in a past life. And I was whatever his name is, John Hawthorne or something. And Um, we were Mayflower passengers. This is a line that you don't I have not heard this anywhere else. I've already schooled my daughter on it. I'm like, "Hey girl, if somebody comes up to you and they say, I think we were married before in a past life," just be like, "That's great." That's when you get the Lori. That's great, okay? And you just move along, okay? You don't buy into that shit. That's some bullshit. And that is one of these seductive, I guess, to these type of people who are grown in this petri dish of all these weird or just all these beliefs, all of this, like in this culture. Okay. In my opinion, I'm sure my lipstick's about to start coming off. Here we go. And so I don't know what's going on here, but I mean, it seems to be a lot of this. Okay. Some Latter-day Satanists. Okay. And this is my opinion. This is where I'm at right now. This is where I'm at. And it tracks. Okay. To me, it does. It tracks because Bullhorn, Tim right here, okay? This is all he does. Okay, I've watched so many speeches where he is just he got to get him in. And I'm just like, that's just not normal. It's not normal because it's not. And so these are just some of those sign symbolisms, that I pick up on, and I'm just like, yeah, let me just sit with that. And I've sat with it for a very long time, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to make of it, but I'm just gonna make note of it. Okay. Oh, also, did Julie Rowe go to a freak off party? I'm just asking. If you know, you know. Okay. If you know, you know. And I used to love having white. Like if I do get my nails done or anything, I would get white or white tips. And I thought it was like, hmm, did he, uh, Diddy Combs, pretty much ruin this for people like me. But I mean, this is what's going on. The anti-raffickers are the raffickers. Okay. So they are projecting. They're telling us exactly who they are. All right. Enough of that. Another rabbit hole brought to you by difficult research. Okay. You're welcome, I guess. um, all right. Oh, this is remote viewing. Julie claims she can remote view people. It means that she believes that she has the ability to perceive or gather information about a person. Then this is what Chad was training for too, and teaching it was Tom Harrison. Okay, who wrote that miserable book. This skill, I'm sorry, perceive or gather information about a person or location from a distance without being physically present. This skill, often associated with psychic phenomena, suggests that she can tap into a form of intuition or extrasensory perception to visualize details about individuals or places she hasn't directly encountered. So think about Janet Rustin too, because she does this too. Supporters of remote viewing argue that it is a unique and powerful tool for understanding and insight, while skeptics question its validity, calling for more scientific evidence to substantiate such claims. Regardless of differing opinions, Julie's assertion invites curiosity and discussion about the mysteries of human consciousness and the potentials of the mind, or just the potentials of her mind, right? And I put this, the same gift that Janet Russin has and utilizes. Oh damn, I need to spell check this. That has and utilizes, and Tim Ballard has used as quote unquote intel while on operations to quote unquote locate trafficked children. And I just said the T word. Damn it. Anyways, welcome to Julie Rowe. She's the fun one, y'all. She's not that fun. She's interesting though, for sure. All right, now let me share my screen. Okay. I gotta find something real quick. I gotta go to, I think it's in the 450. Let's just do that. Okay, to the timeline. Let's see. I don't want to say all the different officers. I just want to get the rundown. But one thing I did find, and I did upload it, so I'll share it with you in just a second. As soon as I find a starting spot and take a drink. Mm. Have y'all been like I caught the court TV right before? Oh, not right before, but before coming on today. And I find it interesting. One thing I have not seen is people really catching on or bringing up the whole Charles's DNA or fingerprints were never found on the bat. And so I was tracking that down, hunting that down before I came on, but I just found like little screenshot. It's from the report. I just don't know where in the report unless I do a keyword search now. But here, let me hide myself so I could smoke in peace. Just, Okay, so I can't be so rude. Let me see what you guys are saying. I think they had her committed there at the end of the trial because she was everywhere and then she was nowhere. Who, Lori? Oh, remember that court hearing in Idaho where the court staff was all doing all kinds of weird sick yes, yeah, I remember? Yeah, no, it wasn't really the court staff, that was the detectives, Big Chuck. Yeah, because I was like, "Whoa, that's Freemasonry signs," but then you're like, "Well, is it, or are they communicating with one another too?" Right? So, I don't know, but it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me. I mean, Freemasonry and Mormonism go hand in hand. In fact, their founder, Joseph Smith, he became a Freemason, like, I wanna say, don't quote me on this, but like a 33rd degree, whatever, the high, the way up there in 3 days, and I'm just like, "Whatever," in whateverville, okay? Yeah, fancy, yeah. So, I remember this report coming out from Justin Lum, and, you know hmm, none of what is real. I'm like, "Wait, none of this is real." The actions of true believers are. Please don't fall into a trap they said they want you to believe too. Who's they? Yeah, it's not. Well, I'll let you answer first, but it's good to see you, Thompson Queen. I'm glad you're here. Hey, Jojo, hurry up. No, I'm picking. Wow, didn't realize none of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that trace. Very weird. She really liked to show. Ugh, that's nasty. Okay, Kresha, remember that. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I already said that one. Watching from Alaska, there's nothing more dangerous than a true believer unless it's a lot. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to go up, and I'm glad I got the context behind that other comment. Uh, unless it's a lot of them. That's where I'm like, "Hey, guys. Hey, 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 hey. This is not just Lori and Chad. This is more." Okay, and so she says, I've said it before, none of this is real, but the actions of true believers are. Right? Right. Okay, they talk it. Boy, they talk it. They're good at talking it. But however, their actions never ever ever align. And that's one way to really, like, in my opinion, to, like, discern. We have to be better and sharpen our discernment skills because y'all, I mean, it's pretty deceptive out there. We don't know who to believe, what to believe, how to believe, and what we can trust. And so I believe that this is the place. This is where we can talk about these kind of things and maybe wake not you can't really wake anybody up, but you can plant the seed. You know what I'm saying? Because we're all on different levels and allegedly different devils. Yeah, that cringe photo of Tim with SS fake tattoo on his palm. Oh, yeah. Stands for secret society. Oh my god. Holy crap, that's a good one, huh? Or the time I saw him with Putin, on a damn ship, or, that he studied under Henry Kissinger, or, just normal people, just everyday people. Or that Carlos Slim funded his movie Sound of Freedom. No biggie. That's just a coinky dink. That is a coinky dink. Don't you know? Thanks for sharing. Huggy Bear. KJ says Huggy Bear, he had women put fake tattoos on his wee wee. And it said Yoder. Joder stands for Fuck. And so I say Yoder, Tim Ballard. Yoder. Okay? Yoder, Tim Ballard. Anyways, Tim is cringe. Yes, ma'am. I do agree. Okay. Um, oh, yeah. Oh, there goes the wind. Oh my gosh, it's shaking my computer. Damn. Hold on, I'm being really still so I can watch it. I live in a mobile home, so it's probably shaking the mobile home, thus shaking my computer. Okay, so I found this and I was like, it's just little things like this where I'm like, wow. Okay. A long time ago, I did this little stamp thing on there. I'm sorry. It's horrible. But it says continued investigation. This is from Gilbert PD. And it says 10/4/2019 through 10/31/2019. And I just found this part interesting where it says the following summary will be separated by the dates of important of importance as it relates to what was learned and tasks completed by Gilbert PD, excuse me, between 10/4/2019 and 10/31/2019. Then it goes, boom, 10/4/2019. After my interview with Melanie Pulowski, or Boudreaux, suspicions about her involvement increased. And then it's redacted. And I'm thinking, I don't know because I don't have laser beam eyes. I can't see through that. It says add both Melanie and Alex Cox's last known addresses. So I'm thinking, okay. At first, when I've maybe looked at this before, I've thought about, oh, okay, in Rexburg. But then I'm like, no, 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 no. This was, I think maybe search warrants or I don't know. I don't know. Can't see under there. Um, that they did those things at their previous addresses. And so to me, it just was interesting just to see that little, I don't know, it's like I'm reading this and I'm just like, wow, it's I just kind of let it absorb and I'm like, so after the detective interviewed, that interview with Melanie Pulowski where she's just like, I don't remember what I did that day, yesterday. I don't know what all we and she asked her and Brandon's little baby girl, one of the kids who was deemed dark, okay, you know? And so, she asked the little girl who was, like, maybe 2, 3 years old at the time, and, she was like, "What did we do yesterday? Got groceries from Amazon," just stupid shit, and I'm just like, well, reading this, I'm just like, "Well, the detective found you he already thought you were suspicious from what I'm gleaning from this, and then he really finds you suspicious even more. And so what I don't understand is it doesn't match up with why the hell is she not in jail? Okay. Why is she not awaiting her trial? And that's just one of those questions that has not aged well. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand the court's decision behind that. I don't understand how Melanie Pulaski could have been deemed a trustworthy mother, parental figure for her children half the time. I don't get it. And so I'm not trying to trash anybody or especially a judge, but I'm just like, what is your reasoning behind this? What did she show you that we don't see? I don't see it. And I want to see. I don't want to sit here and hold and persecute anybody that doesn't deserve it. But it's a horrible feeling that, I mean, I've had forever about Melanie Boudreaux Pulaski, especially meeting Brandon in person, just I'm looking at him and I'm just like, "Oh my god," he's the only living survivor, a living victim out of this entire tragedy. And to know now that Lori Vallow Daybell is going to be questioning him and, it goes with this picture. This I know it's abstract right here, but mom's deadlocked on her. If looks could kill, my mom would be awaiting her trial too at this point because she'd have knocked her damn dead. Okay. Then, there's Brandon. They were there, united front to be like, we're not gonna take this, like you're busted, never to be trusted. You're exposed, holding her accountable, like, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? It's a very simple question that could have been remedied with uh, so many easy solutions to identify where her children were. But she knew where they were. Chad knew where they were. I believe there's more people that knew where they were. Okay. Because I believe there's more people involved in these murders. That's just my opinion. Thus enter the secret society. Okay. There's always going to be a fall guy, so to speak. And that's where I'm like, did Lori talk about zombies? Was she the one that introduced this besides the Z's, But I mean, did they actually, I don't know. It is so confusing. I try to find timelines of when this happened, just like I've been doing with Julie Rowe and Chad Daybell's organization, Tim Ballard's organization, and how they all cropped up around the same time. 2012, Visions of Glory came out, 2013. Um, uh, the Operation Underground Railroad formed. Then, if you go listen to Ryan Fisher on Nuance Ho, aka Kara Burrell, the Timmy Did What podcast, where he's talking about how Tom Harrison's idea behind, because I mean, he's in Liberty 89, which is interesting. I found something else with that too. I know I'm never going to get to this damn timeline. um, yeah. So, but he was saying how Tom Harrison is like the secret organization, the shadow organization behind Operation Underground Railroad, even. And I'm like, right? Yes. And how, Ryan has shared many times with us, especially before he even met Kara Burrell, he came out with a video and we broke it down right here. It had been out for maybe an hour and I was like, oh, we got to go live. We got to go live. We got to go live because everything he said in that video it confirmed and validated so many of my conspiracy theories that I had about what's going on with these people and their accelerationalism, these accelerationalists who want to bring on the doom and the gloom, and they're all prepared. These preppers are prepping, but they're prepared to live. They're prepared to live it out. The church is even, I mean, that a lot of these people that, study, they belong to the same institution who is also hoarding money, billions and millions upon millions of dollars, and are not very transparent with it. Also, who are being fined by the SEC even because they just didn't want, they didn't want their tithe members to get offended with how they were spending it, or to be able to tell the church how to spend their money. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. And then, I mean, the prophet of the church, this one, Nelson, I mean, he belongs to the secret order, Skull and Bones. So did Emerald Ballard. And I mean, you can't make this shit up. Okay. I mean, they friends with the presidents, the Pope, all the people. And I think that it's just like jokes on us because, haha, they don't, they're just, they got this fear. They got all the money in the world to enslave us. And so if you don't think this affects you, you know, you got a little ways to go. It's not easy. This is going to ruin your entire worldview. Anybody that you idolized, I mean, I'm finding out that's the problem right there. We're not supposed to idolize people. And we shouldn't put people up here. We should not be like, oh, they couldn't do that, because then we are just setting ourselves up for self-deception, first off. Plus, this, I believe, is how this ritual abuse, this thrives in this kind of environment, because we look to these people because they're propped up, because other people prop them up and give them credibility. And a lot of these people are part of the same network. Okay, so they all just build each other up. This is what they do. Jody Hildebrandt came out even in a podcast that she did with Tom Harrison and Ken Krogh, Eternal Core podcast. Okay, and they asked her when she started her podcast, and I want to say, I wrote it down, but I don't feel like looking at it. It was either I want to say she said the summer of 2013. So you got Jody Hildebrandt cropping up. You have Operation Underground Railroad that cropped up in November 13th of 2013. Then you have, Chad Daybell, his book publishing company came about in 2004, him and Tammy. However, he starts approaching Hector Sosa. He starts approaching Julie Rowe. He starts approaching people and really plugging them. And then Julie, she hits this wave of prepper craze, the 2015, the blood moons, I mean, that was really significant. I even saw a comment or a post on subreddit. I want to say it was ex-Mormon subreddit early on, saying that President Oaks was there. And I'm like, you people, it's like, again, we don't think that these people intermingle or associate with these apostles. A lot of these people elevate. It would be like me thinking that Chad Daybell's hanging out with the Pope, and we're just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, he's not going to give him the time of day. However, there are enough shady characters and really rich, wealthy people who are in and around these same circles orchestrating, in my opinion. Okay. These are the people that are not going to get found out. So then you go and listen to a audio that was released by, I want to say, Celeste Borges, who's one of the women that is suing Tim Ballard federally. And I saw a little blurb last night that I hadn't seen. Like, just sometimes the information is so overwhelming that whenever, and so I caught this little bottom of an article from Fox 13 News, um, writing about all the uh, lawsuits. Duh. And how at the very bottom it said that Tim Ballard, Operation Underground Railroad, was under a few at that time. I'm not going to quote it right because I suck at this, but that they're being looked at and under investigation. And I was just like, huh, interesting. I take so many damn screenshots. I doubt I'll be able to find the right one right now. Anyways, all right. I'm wore out. I've been talking. They are. Have you seen how far back the craziness goes? Back to the yes, girl. Okay, so that reminds me of just it's just interesting, to me because my uncle Charles lived usually in Austin or he Arizona or Hawaii, so it's not like we were around each other all the time. Okay, but so there's I can, there's memories that I go back to and I'm like, "Oh my god." It's like I believe in God, and I'm just like, is it God preparing me all these little things so that I'm just like, "Oh, it resonates now." Like, "Oh, was he preparing me back then by, some things that Uncle Charles shared with me where he folded a dollar bill in half, and my Uncle Charles was the corniest person I know. I mean, for real, just corny, and he makes it I love corny jokes. It makes me laugh. I mean, I'm just like, "Oh my god, it's so stupid." But it's just anyway, so it was just kind of a personality that's very present in my especially that side of the family. But so he, a dollar bill long ways, and he folded it in half to where the back was showing. And he said, "Do you see the wings?" And I was like, "Yes." The wings on the back of the dollar bill. And then he folded it again, you know. Anyways, I can't really show because I don't have a dollar bill right here. But so he folded it and he was like, "Do you still see the wings?" I was like, "Yes." And then he did it again. He folded it again. He was like, "Do you still see the wings?" And I was like, "Yes, I see the wings." And so then it made like a U, okay? So it did like that. And he put it on his hand and he said, "Say wing 3 times." I was like, "Wing, wing, wing." He was like, "Hello?" Okay. Stupid, corny joke. Okay. But I mean, I'm just like, whoa. When I think back about that, it just is like, damn, was he prepping? Like, okay, whatever. Corny joke. What do you call a one-eyed deer? Answer: I have no idea. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. This is what keeps me going. Okay. It's just these. Or he did this one time. I'm sorry. He was like, "You want to see my duck call?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Calling all ducks, calling all ducks." Okay, straight up. Just a goofball. Straight up goofball, funny guy, corny as all get out, but um something these things I'll never forget about my uncle. It's what I'm just like, "Oh my gosh," because sometimes he could look so serious, like my grandfather. Like my grandfather was such a serious guy. And he would I just don't remember many times of my papa just cracking up or cutting a joke or being, funny or just relaxed. He was a very serious banker at that. Think about the banker. I'm like, "Oh, damn," plus that there's on that side of the family, there's definitely some Freemasonry going on, even some Shriners. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what do you do to get this shit off your bloodline?" Okay. Y'all know how I am with how it freaks me out that my family lineage was exploited in the way that it was and marked for death, basically. I don't know if it was just Chad and Julie calling all the shots and just, oh yeah, no, he's dark, she's dark, and because we don't want them anymore, or because he said that my uncle in a whatever in a previous life, whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know. This is enter their world crazy. Okay. And I'm just like, what the hell are they? What's their fascination? Why why are they 23 and in me that I still won't take? Why are they putting it in the vault? Why are they saving billions of dollars? Why are they baptizing every member? Is it because they say that we can have this in the afterlife, so to speak? Or is it because they seem to be heading up towards this conspiracy that is not mine, but it is of a new world order and is one religion, one government, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'm just like, son of a bitch. Okay, this is the thing I didn't expect to see, or I wasn't seeking. This is just a theme, and I was like, why the hell are they wanting to bring this on? Because all these people, including my aunt who told this to my uncle, was saying, I'm going to usher in the second coming of Jesus Christ. But in Mormonism, whenever you study it or when you learn about what the coming of the Lord, the second coming of the Lord is going to be, it's called the great, I don't know if I have this exactly right, but it's called the great and terrible day of the Lord or something. That's so if she would have said, I'm coming, I'm ushering in the second coming of the whatever of the Lord, then okay, that means apocalyptic Armageddon in in the LDS church. However, she's saying ushering in the second coming of Jesus Christ. That is not Armageddon. Okay. So another thing also, God dang, I have a lot to tell you guys, right? Oh, okay. I'm gonna check that out. I have not seen that. Meet Brian Johnson, the man who wants to live forever. Oh, wait. Well, my theory on that is, how a lot of them too look young? I mean, and I'm doing so much research into this right now, so it's weird. It's always gonna be weird, but it goes in hand with that adrenaline song I was telling you about, that was on Julie Rowe's website. I'm calling it Drano, but it's adrenal glands that fear instilled in children, usually, I mean, in anybody, when they know they're about to die, um, they produce a natural thing, a natural hormone that comes from the kidneys, so adrenal, okay? Don't type it in this chat, okay? But you know what I'm talking about. And this is a substance that they can, I mean, you can buy it. People can buy it now, but I don't think that's as good. I don't think it's not a good fresh stock or something. I don't really know. I don't do that. I don't consume blood. So that's the difference in me and them for sure. But obviously there are people that do, and or in a lot of these satanic ritual abuse survivors, they all it's so outlandish. I'm just like, oh my god, I don't know, I don't believe these stories. They're hard to believe, but then once, is it me that needs to change the way, and open my mind, or is it them? I need to tell them to change the way that they lived it and experienced it. And a lot of times they're children when this happens, and so you don't have the tools to even deal with it, much less explain it or tell your parents or tell somebody, and that's how this thrives too. It's how it thrives, for sure. But I do want, I might know who you're talking about, but I'm definitely gonna read this. But there was a guy who was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to see if it's the same one, is what I want to know. Hey Ravina, what's up? Hey Jean, how are you? How's it going, girl? He does penis shock therapy. Can you imagine penis shock therapy? I don't have a penis, but damn. He probably won't have one after that. Just what I'm saying. From Provo? Oh Lord. He uses his own son's plasma. Well, there you go. I mean, again, this Jesse, I don't know how to say her last name, Chatabar, I don't know, Czebo or Czeboter. She talked about, again, these things, and like Asia Rain, um, J.R. Sweet, Allie Carter. Um, I try to listen to everybody, and whether I'm like, "Oh, no, that doesn't exist. That sounds so crazy." Well, they bank on that too. And that is actually one of the ways that Utah County Attorney David Levitt, who is all up in the Hamlin mix, okay? And I mean, anyways, he's accused of SAing and SRA, satanic ritual abuse, of Hamlin's daughters. And I mean, it's been since the 90s, and that case still has never made it to trial because of the powers that be. Okay. And if you don't think it exists, that these powers that be, when we just think about it in passing, I mean, just from my own experience, I'm just like, that didn't happen. There's no way that there's this whole conspiracy this whole network of people. It's just, there's a way, and money talks, bullshit walks, and they all have blackmail on one another. Tim Ballard tapes every damn thing. Gordon Bowen may have too. I don't know. He sure was making he was allegedly making a $20 million movie for Church of Jesus. Can you imagine the blasphemous scenes? Think of Jim Caviezel. Blasphemy much? And they want nothing more than to rob the innocence from our children, and because that's God's most precious lambs. It's their children are precious. They're innocent. And whenever they instill fear, they torture, they SA, they cause the brain to split into to dissociate, right? And so whenever you're that young, you don't have the capacity to endure what is being done. Okay. And so that's part of this MK Ultra shit. And it breaks the minds, and they want to break the spirits. They're trying to steal and rob the light, so to speak, from the innocent. Okay. Because that's the biggest slap in the face to God. But and they also talk about implanting demons in people and dogs. Best Friends Animal Society. Okay. And then they can control the demon. I'm just like, what? Like, what's really going on here? But they believe in it, and uh by ye fruits. Okay, I see what's happening here. I see that my nephew didn't come back alive. He came back in a box with his ashes. So that's my proof. My uncle was his ashes. I was at that funeral too that we had for him in February of 2020. Once Chad Daybell sent his cremains to us, right? Ain't that something? I mean, it pisses me the hell off to no end. Really. It's so disrespectful. It's enraging. Okay. These people, Lori, her representing herself it's a joke. It is a fucking joke. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I gotta calm down. It's a freaking joke. And it's just to cause even more pain, inflict more torture. This is what they do. This is what they do. Okay. So she needs her little narc supply. I don't know. I mean, this is just another way to exploit, to demean, to torture, to and it's the last one though. So hoorah, right? That's your last hoorah, boo. And I hope you get a t-shirt, girl. I hope it's orange and white or black. I don't care what color stripes they are. It really does suck. It really does suck. Um, it's just making more and more sense though. And again, I also think that Lori, I can't prove this. I don't have proof, And I'd have to have somebody from her family, her close inner family, her mom, dad, brother, sister, be, either I mean, I've heard them say that, there was no abuse. It was wonderful. Everything is wonderful and great. Everything's great, 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 great. And I'm just like, "Was it though? Hey, thank you. Children do not go to hell. Remote viewing lets people think what? What? I did not know that, Chris. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the super chat too. Wow." And Robinette, I remember Robinette saying this too about how when we all heard about Lori's first near death experience, quote unquote, alleged, um, whenever she was giving birth to Tylee, right? And how she said that her spirit went down. And it's just a thought that when somebody's spirit goes down, it's just interesting. Instead of lifting out, it went down. And I'm like, right. Right. Another thing that has stood out, I was making a video, and I mean, I studied the Hamblin case all the time. That's what I make all kinds of presentations. I just never have the balls to share it with you here because it's so crazy. But really, when you think about it all, um, you're welcome. Whenever you think about it all, it does start to make a lot more sense in the context of things, But I mean, I can't even get people to latch on to the idea or wrap their minds around the idea that Tylee and JJ most likely, and Colby too, most likely were in the same kind of system. I don't know to what degree the adults took part. I know that I'm studying, like Kevin Frankie, Ruby Frankie, and how there are parents within this system who are bringing their children to people like Jody Hildebrandt, to people like Tom Harrison. I don't know if Tom Harrison does this, but I'm just saying he's in the right field. Okay. Therapist, hypnosis, these techniques to where they can control a mind. They can say keywords. They can make them talk about blueprints and talk about contractors and talk about builders and conductors and all these weird things. Okay. Have you ever read the book Program to Kill? Please read it. And I'm not saying it's the know all be all, but I am saying that it's worth the read. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. If anything, it really sharpens you up and of the possibilities that this is far more dark and far more sinister. And that, it has to do with all of us because I used to think, I've never been like, a lot of people refer to members of churches, as cult followers. And then I found out, I'm like, "Ah, it's a cult. You're in a cult." And then I came to the understanding that it's not very constructive to tell somebody that they're an alcoholic. You're an alcoholic, you know. You need to stop smoking cigarettes, or you need to stop doing drugs, you're a narcissist. Those things don't go over well if you're wanting to, you know, help somebody, do an intervention, so to speak. My Uncle Charles, you're too religious. He's like, this bitch is psycho, basically. I mean, we see what happens. Well, I don't know if it was going to happen or not. I probably, but that it definitely sped it up, accelerated his demise and the kid's demise, Tammy's demise, maybe Joe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to find out. And it's talking about a lot of weird, weird, weird things that I'm like, I didn't even know of their existence. Okay. But through this case, through all of this, my grief, the pain that's come with this, the facts that have been, exposed or known about, to why this happened, to the levels of depravity, of extraness, that they've gone through to hide or try to conceal and justify even, that's disturbing all in of itself also, is that it's just like in Diddy land, hip hop is the religion. Hip hop is the vehicle. With Lori and Chad, Mormonism is the vehicle. Okay. With Jehovah Witness, with Catholic, whomever is doing this depraved shit, okay, or Satanism, it is the vehicle to which one can use to get them there. To uh, you have the New Agers, okay, you've got that. Um, there's just a lot of things that we can get too involved in. There's too much information. I'm an information overload over here. Okay, it's like we trade one thing for another sometimes. And you know what else I find interesting? I just saw this. You know what else I find interesting in this whole triangle structure is the fact that, my Uncle Charles came from a devout Catholic background. I didn't realize this, but like my grandfather was super hard with his children, or at least, my mom doesn't really talk about it much. So I really didn't know. And he wasn't, like my grandfather wasn't like this with me, but I mean, he studied in Rome, okay, for a time, and he went and met or shook hands. I don't have it, but I need to get it. A picture of my grandfather, which is Charles's dad, which is my mom's dad, shaking hands with the Pope. Okay. And I'm just like, now I'm like, ooh, because it's just like, anyways. And so, my Uncle Charles comes from a very devout, judgy, I guess you could say, right? I'm gonna call it that. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, just trying to be real. Um, Environment where, like my mom would always be sent flyers or pamphlets or whatever from the church talking about abortion and the birth control pill, yada yada yada, and just would cram it down their throats, so to speak. And I mean, I want to tell you this story, but I can't because it's not my story to tell, and I don't. Um, there's reasons why I believe that, my Uncle Charles and my grandfather had a falling out, so to speak. And it would bother me too, actually. But anyways, so it always amazed me or just baffled me why my Uncle Charles went basically from one frying pan into another one, which is this devout Mormonism, devout Catholicism to devout Mormonism. He was a Kappa Sig. Think about the fraternities that are involved in this, the sororities. And I'm not saying all, I'm just saying, you know who you are, damn, you know what you do. If you don't participate in sacrificing, innocent people and torturing innocent people, then you're good. You're gooch. If you didn't sell your soul, then you're gooch. You're good. Okay. Just be aware. It doesn't mean people get so damn defensive. I don't. It's so hard to tiptoe around, and I'm just tired of tiptoeing. But I can't help it. Just want to be cautious. I don't want to offend anybody. It's not on purpose. It's just like, come on, your reality. You know how much Catholic you are. You know how much Mormon you are. You know whether you're part of their group or not. Okay. If you get defensive, then that's on you, boo. That's on you. I can't make you feel any certain way. You can't make me feel any certain way. But what you say may make me feel a certain way because I feel that, I don't know. I don't know how to. The Catholic guilt is problematic, in my opinion. Not offended. Okay. So I noticed this also well, actually, Jason kind of brought it up. And then whenever he brought it up, I was like, oh my God, yes. From my very own culture. Okay. I don't go to a church. I don't pay tithing. I don't, now, but I've participated in because I had to. I went to CCD, but I never did confirm. I promised my grandfather, who was devout Catholic, that I was going to marry a good Catholic man. I told him this on his deathbed. He didn't ask me to tell him this. I don't even know if he heard me, but I was like, I promise I'm going to marry a good Catholic man and I'm going to make you proud. No. Okay. First off, no. I mean, it turns out I don't want to be, and that's okay. You know. course, he didn't put that on me, but anyways, I'm just saying that's the system I grew up in. I thought that's what I needed to do to be a people pleaser, to get, to just make my elders proud of me, recognition, acknowledge, like, "Oh, okay," approval. Anyways, and I think that we all kinda grow up in these kind of systems, maybe not, maybe you're a lucky one, I don't know, but if so, please share your experiences. You and think alike in so many levels near as I can tell. You're doing fine, honey. No one should be offended. Thank you, Wendy. I mean, it is very difficult to talk. A lot of people, again, these topics that encompass Lori and Chad and friends are the most difficult to broach, to even talk about, to not offend people. There's a Sammy Kershaw song, that it's country, I think he's from Louisiana somewhere, but it's you don't talk about politics, religion, or her. And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's the 3." That's the one. And I hate politics, but I've had to learn because of the associations that are involved, the people that are involved, and, in my own family's demises, and that's mine's all about just who's who, and I'm not gonna just say, "Oh, because he and him are, like, associated, then he's a douchebag too." No, I'm not saying that, but I mean, I observe and I study, and I'm just like, "Hmm, but why?" Then I wanna see who's propping who up, who's fluffing who up, and to me, who platforms people, okay? And it's not to sit here and start a freaking civil war, it's just to be like, "Hey, just be aware. Just be aware. That's all you gotta do. Be aware. That's all I'm trying to do here is be aware, raise aware, and talk about it, and correct me, and, um, if I or just share me your view because I really do value your guys' views, I really do. I've always looked and not trolled, but I've looked in comment sections because I didn't understand so many of the things that were being discussed or thrust into the spotlight whenever the kids went missing. I was just like, there are Facebook groups, that were created, and I'm appreciative of those things. Okay, those are tools. They can be a blessing and a curse, just like anything else. You can use them to your advantage. You can, in this day and age, you can use those, and it can be essential. It is essential in locating your loved one, possibly. Okay. However, I've seen it blow up in some cases where the kids are forgotten, and, you know, and then it's just a bunch of bullshit, or, just politicking people and their views, and they lose sight, and that's really sad. It's tragic. And then we wonder how the kid became missing in the first place, Probably because we weren't paying a damn attention. Probably because we were too busy defending egotistical jerks, that we just idolized and just didn't think that those kind of people can actually be the people who are orchestrating these things, who are um exploiting these things even. It was very interesting and offensive to me to find out, who owned East Idaho News, who owned the town basically. Okay. And then to find out, in Adam Steed's case, the Boy Scout whistleblower, how, I mean, that's why Frank Vandersloot established, and bought from Bonneville Communications of all places. That's the church's freaking communications department, or it was. Well, Frank Vandersloot bought 5 radio stations, or 5 whatever, a combination of stations from Bonneville Communications, because if you control the news, the narrative, you know, then you control the narrative. You control the story. They're storytellers, right? Well, it's just interesting to me. It's interesting. because it's another way to exploit victims. I mean, to the nth degree. I've said this so many times. To the nth degree, where they're going to capitalize on the exploitation of their victim, so to speak. I mean, the family, my family, other families, you know, it'll be an anniversary, or let's say appeals in the future, and or court trials where people, and I mean, as a family member of the victims, I'm going to say that I want to talk about them. I want to talk about why am I here? That's why I'm here. I'm here because you guys allow me a place where I can talk about them, where we can talk about them. Okay? And this is where they stay alive. Like, this is, to me, is just like I'm trying to do good. I'm trying to do them proud, like, this is so tragic that these things happen to them. However, there's nothing I can do as a person, as a family member, to bring them back ever, 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 ever. I would do anything. I would. But I want to talk about them. And there's the exploiter side of this where, there's news, because I'm like, well, what separates it? What makes it exploitative and not? Okay. What's not is whenever, like me, like, because of where I research and I'm more in the conspiratorial whatever, I'm just call it reality, okay? I'm just like, well, can't sugarcoat everything. And if we are sugarcoating everything, then that's why we are the way we are. And then we only have ourselves to bitch at, okay? Because what we allow is what will continue, and that's what we've allowed. And I wasn't aware of all these things. And now I am. And I mean, I've just got the little baby bottom of it. I'm just still, I don't ever want to stop learning, but now it's just like sharpening the discernment skills and learning how to talk about it, because it is massive. You can't just, I always had the what do you call it? This idea. I had this idea that I just wanted to do all the research. Okay. And then, like, people like my mom and Larry and anybody in my family, I would love to be able to tell them what I know, what I found out, why. It answers a lot of the whys and the whats. Those questions that we are never going to get answered by the likes of Lori or Chad or anybody else who kills and does this, okay? And I think that there are a lot more ritualistic crimes than we even think, because of the separation of church and state, because of how they invert things. Okay. They talk Jesus, like, who said that earlier? You know who you are, but who talk the same thing, but nothing. Oh, Thompson Queen. Um, their actions never, they don't align with what they're spewing. So that's one way, to spot them. It's just to, do their words match their actions? And for a group of people, and this goes even beyond Joseph Smith. I mean, in Mormonism, this goes way up there in the secret societies, in the Freemasons, in the all those occultic, esoteric people, things, groups, societies. It's all about proving by your works. And I'm just like, interesting. That is just so interesting, because that was one of the big things for me, was thinking, learning about Mormonism and how all these people, yeah, when you have a group of people who believe in these dangerous things or inverted things, then you end up with people like Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, Jody Hildebrandt, Ruby Frankie, um, Tim Ballard. You have people that are very inverted, and they are slithering among us. Basically, they preach, they talk a good talk, but they never can walk the walk that aligns that, that backs up, what they're saying. It doesn't. It just, anyway. So, but I mean, that's a lot. And so I used to be a very trusting person. I used to give you trust, and then you would have to break that or whatever. Then, you know basically I'm done after that, you can fool me once, not gonna do it again. But now I'm very, very leery of people and leery of their actions, what they're talking, and I want to know more. Like, I want to see, is what they're saying, is it just bullshit? Are they just, spewing from the mouth? And a lot of them are. And so, again, it's just interesting to see how people another interesting thing is that, they want us to have a victim mentality. And so if we have a victim mentality, then they are who? They are, and they all have these messiah complexes, these God complexes, the hero complex. They just want to just, they want, but they are also creating a problem, but they have a solution, just they're like, "Oh, here you go. Oh, got the solution." And then, I mean, they get us all scared, they get us all crazy, and we're like, "Wah, Armageddon," the world's gonna end. And then they're like, "Oh, here you go. But here, see, it's okay." And then we have this whole, oh my gosh, what's that term where, like, a victim falls in love or starts empathizing with their captor. Oh my gosh. I know y'all know it. I can't think of it. Anyways, but that's the kind of relationship. It's like with a narcissist. What's going on?
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you. I knew. I mean, Janet Russell talks about that, talking about how Tim's accusers, they have Stockholms. And I'm just like, shut up, you know? But anyways, trauma bonding, that too. Yeah, trauma bonding. And so they want us to align with abusers. And I mean, I'm like, "Oh, that tracks." So it's not just because you may have been a part of a cult or a group or an organization, or, that's high demand, that is just, they're all about the abusers, protecting the abusers. Uh, and I mean, come on, we live in a society where this is taking place hand over fist. Hand over fist. I want to believe victims. I want to be believed if something happened to me or my children or my nephew or my step cousin or my uncle. I want them to be believed when they go to reach out, when they are a whistleblower, when they are trying to get help. I want them to be believed. I want to be believed. That's that whole thing. Treat others as you want done to you. So, not just treat others when it's convenient for you, or it's just so they can take advantage of it. I mean, you know, we live in a world of light and dark, so to speak, because we have the empath, we have the narcissist. Okay. And it's like, they wanna just drain our energy supply, I mean, I'm one of those people, I'm very sensitive to people's energies. I don't know, I'm not like all vibrations and shit like that, like all they were. I'm just saying that I know when I'm depleted, I'll just be like, "Oh god, I can't do no more," because they just suck the life out of you. Okay, but we allow them. Okay, so we have to take accountability and responsibility for allowing them, right? So that's where the boundaries thing comes in. And you're just like, well, you have to limit yourself because it wipes you out so bad, and anyways, whether they're doing it on purpose or not, just you more than anybody else, your body, and you know what you can handle and what you can't. And I mean, so be it. So be it. you know. Um I don't know. I've just always been hypersensitive to those kind of, like, right now, I have the "ee" in my ears. I don't have tinnitus, but it's just like, goodness, 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 goodness. We were never gonna get to the timeline, y'all. I had to change the damn thumbnail because it's already been an hour and 39 minutes. Crap. Yeah, I think we'll just have, because I don't wanna go too long, and I'll go so long. Yeah, I went 5 hours and I was like, "Good Lord." I was so tired. I was like, "Oh my god." And because you guys allowed me to boudet a little bit, and drag my lip, and no, you guys allowed me a soft place to land, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. I mean, it just is so much of just holding it in or not really having a resource, where you can spew it or just talk it out even. Um, it builds up, and sometimes you don't even like, I don't even realize how much things are weighing on me until I'm actually allowing it to come out, and, I'm laughing at Donna. But, yeah, for letting me, just talk. This is talk therapy, really. It really is, and I see, like, Colby benefiting from it. I see Megan benefiting from it. I see other family members benefiting from it. Um, I just see people benefiting from it now, you know? Hello, meme of 8. Mimi of 8. How are you? It is. Yeah, but we're doing this together, Divergent, you know? I mean, we just have to charge up our flashlights. That's all. And then again, like when we all put our flashlights together as a community, then we really because there's strength in numbers, I'm telling you. And if I can just get everyone to enlighten me to what you've ran across in your studies, in your life experience, and your perspectives. I mean, there's nothing more valuable than swapping stories. And I mean, no, the powers that be, they have the control. They have it where they can just turn this off. That's freaky. And but then I'm like, I told Jason a while back, I was like, well, it's so crazy because I've got all these notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of freaking notes. Years of notes, okay? That's not easy to transfer into a phone and then into some kind of understandable book that I think would really help now. I really do. I think it's a freaking public service. It's a public service because it needs to be known. It needs to be known that, yeah. And it would, because it can't be explained in 1 hour. It just is not. It's very complex and has very many layers of onion, onion layers. And so I don't know. I just never was, oh yeah, I need to write a book. Never. Never have I ever. However, I do keep a journal. It's just of notes of every day I go here, I go there, and I see this or see that, I write it down. And I'm like, well, but if they do pull the plug, you know, then I have all these damn notebooks. We got my notebooks. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Her Donna says we can do it like a digital newsletter. Oh, no, I do have that capability using Canva. I don't know how to I cannot organize it. I don't know how to organize it. I'm just like, what goes first? What goes second? What all goes into it? And then when to stop? Because that's my problem. I'm just like, well, here, I'm whole ass. I've told you all that from jump. So, um, mm, you gotta wait, hold on. I got something for y'all. Because I love you so much. Yeah. If somebody had just said this to a lot of people, especially Tim.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
You gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. Okay? You just do. Anyways, oh, I did make some things, y'all. I'm gonna share these with you before I'm not gonna go too long. I don't want to drag this on. I'm trying to get back in the good graces of the YouTube algorithm god, right? But let's see, where do I have? It is my mouth is dry. My lips are dry. No, I just had the ditty. You gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. How many people have repeated that though? Ever since all this. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, Jay. Oh yeah, I remember when Trace made that. Look, your can of whoop ass right there. Oh, you got a shelf loads of it too. I think Trace made these. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. It's so cute. Can of whoop ass girl. Got thunder and lightning. All right. These are just some little things I made in Canva, and I said I would upload them, and so here we are. Here we go. Did Julie just get back from a free golf? Anyways, ha ha ha. All right. Then I made this one, which needs work. Subscribe if you rebuke the demons, right? Okay. There's that one. My lips are doing that dry thing again, so it's about time to end it. These are just some other things that I made. Ooh, witchy woman, right? That's all I think about. Now with the Julie. Oh, I already did that one. Here we go. I want to know why. I want to know who's above Tom. I want to know why Julie Rowe was making a nonprofit organization that was to rescue soul trafficked people, victims, allegedly. Tom Harrison's whole thing, according to Ryan Fisher, is to kind of like the church, man. It aligns with the church's thoughts in this stuff. But to have, I mean, and he's behind Operation Underground Railroad, also Liberty 89, just so many things. And where they're going to rescue children who are left behind, abandoned, when people like you and I are caught up and taken away or killed, died from the impending doom that I believe they orchestrate using weather technology. There's things that's going on that aren't so natural. You gotta ask yourself, like, why are they all in, like, philanthropists? Why are they all into these humanitarian kind of things? You know, you got Glenn Beck, where, I mean, there's a hurricane, Jason Miles right there, and Hurricane Katrina. I'm just like, get the hell out of my state. Okay, we don't want your kind here, you know. And I mean, so they go where there's devastation, but I do believe that they're also causing it. They're kind of like, oh, here, you know, here's the problem, and then here's this answer. But we're your heroes. We're coming dun, da, 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 to save the day. You know, we're coming to rescue you. Look at Gardy Marty. Look at all the times that they go and have been to these third world countries where they do not have the same kind of luxury as we do, where, you know, we have lights, water, the simple things, you know. I don't need a white papa to come in and rescue me, Tim Ballards, just so you can exploit me and my brother that you adopted because we are dark skinned. Okay. And you're like, but no, I'm doing good. See? And when people like that, people like Lori, you know, wear it as the latest designer bag, their adopted children, that is shitty to me. And it is so demeaning. And I see that now. I didn't see that then. I did not like the fact, you know, I didn't like the thought of JJ being adopted. I was just like, nope, no, we got this, we can do this, you know. But my mom was like, well, you know, but you have to learn to be selfless and not selfish. And I was just like, okay, maybe. And so it took me a while to warm up to the idea, and because it's very deep. And anyways, so I mean, and I mean, had this not occurred, had Lori not had a murderous, damn rampaged heart, you know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing what kind of home it was for him, it wasn't ever going to be good. You know, now I know that, but not knowing that, and just let's say that Lori was like me or like you with a good heart, you would never hurt a child. You know, I mean, I want that for children. I don't want them to be adopted into these homes where, check it out, just look on the news, just scroll through the news. There's these two gay guys that adopted two boys, and they did the most explicable freaking things to these babies. and this happens, not just same-sex partner. I'm just saying this happens. There's a lady in Arizona, I don't remember her damn name, but me and Jason, that rocked our world to watch what she did. Had a YouTube channel and everything. Exploit. This is what they do. This is what they're taught. This is usually like a system thing where it's generational. And so they're doing it. And so then they're teaching their kids to do it. And then so on and so forth, where they're infiltrating through generational means as well. You know, it's not just infiltrating the political landscape. It's not just infiltrating in your religious institutions. It's not just infiltrating in your country. They're infiltrating every aspect of our lives, and they've done this third and fourth generation now, for sure. I mean, it goes beyond that too. Of course, you know, it's been happening since the beginning of time. But I mean, the means and the methods to which these people are employing, you know, using the modalities and everything, it's the same as German Nazis, okay, that they were using in the concentration camps and so on and so forth. And okay, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, wow. You know, the fact that Tim Ballard is so against, he wants a wall where, and I don't have the answers. I don't pretend to even know. Okay. So that's not my thing here. I'm pointing out where I'm exposing Tim Ballard because he's a liar, in my opinion. And he's exploiting all these things that are humanitarian issues, you know, like sex trafficking, like border policies. Okay. He's just trying to, he's already in that system, you know, where it's to get got, or you know, you get or get got, basically. There's blackmail on you. He told one of his Celeste Boris, I do believe, that in a text message that I read in those documents, and it said something, we'll have so much shit on everyone, we'll drive them into silence. And I'm just like, why would you want to drive people into silence? As someone who rescues children, you know, you'd think you'd want people to open their damn mouths. You would support people, and maybe not traffic the very women that you're bringing along and doing this couple ruse bullshit with, to exploit them even more, to humiliate them even more, and then gaslight them a great deal and discredit them a great deal publicly, and then get all your cohorts to do it too. And I mean, your cohorts, you know, they're in higher positions where they have the power to do that. I don't think Glenn Beck and Tim Ballard broke up, so to speak. I think it's just part of the act. I think it's just they have a goal, and it is to usher in the new world order. Okay, it's not my plan. It's not mine. I'm just here relaying it. You know what I happened to see, and I was just like, oh my god, this is their end game. This is their end game. So what Lori said to my uncle is actually part of the same group that is doing this and ushering in the second coming. And second coming means new world order. New world order means I'm going to have a thing under my description box now. The little thingy, whatever. They're going to punish me from the algorithms. Okay. And so if you'll like the video, that would help. Allegedly. It's kind of like, I'm kind of starting to think it's a false sense of, you know, security, or like say so, or democracy, and how they say, you know, that our vote counts. I don't know. It's just a little feeling I have. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know. We just play by the system, literally. It's crazy.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
But I have one we'll end on, and it's a much brighter video. It's about a minute and 4 seconds, but I'm gonna have to go change my thumbnail and my title for sure. So I'm sorry, but I mean, it's still about the case. It's still part of the timeline. It's part of the case. It's part of the story. I can't like isolate that, but we will go over the timeline. Oh, I do have to share this with you before I go, because it's interesting for sure. And it was a little nuggets, you know. All right, let me find it. Okay. Found it. And so maybe I'm just late. Probably so. I've shared this before. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Well, it's not sharing it. Hold on. Let me stop and then let me start. Share screen. Here we go. Okay. So right here, this is right before, this is July 9th of 2019. And so I'd only heard this from Colby and from I remember Dr. John talking about how Lori was fascinated with Twilight. Ashlyn told me this too about Lori. I remember bringing my daughter to go see it at the movies. But anyway, so for what it's worth, I mean, this is just a little thing. Where it's in the days leading up to my Uncle Charles's murder. Okay. And it says July 9th, 2019. Well, let me go back. Let's see. We'll start here. According to Lori's cell phone records, blank, Melanie called her at 7:22 p.m. And this is Melanie Pulowski, Melanie Boudreaux, Melanice. 7/9/2019 at 7:22:27, or I'll just say 7:22 p.m. Lori sent Melanie an SMS message stating, "I'll call you in 5, finding out what to do." The detectives say this would indicate that Lori was currently speaking to someone and unable to take Melanie's call at the time. I then reviewed additional records to see who Lori could have been talking to for such guidance. Guidance. I think they need to go pick up Chad Daybell. In reviewing the records for blank, a call was placed to Lori's phone, blank, at 7:06 p.m. This same call is documented on Lori's phone records. The call lasted for 68 minutes and 54 seconds. This phone number was listed in Lori's contact list as Bubby and was the burner phone with the fictitious name linked to Chad Daybell. This call would have ended at approximately 8:15 p.m. Prior to this phone call, there were numerous SMS messages between Lori and Chad. However, none of the messages appeared in the iCloud records. Wonder why? Record of these messages are only seen in the phone records. Based on the messages reviewed, it was likely that the urgent news Lori received from it was likely that the urgent news Lori received was from Chad. July 9, 2019, 7:23 p.m. And I figured this out the other day. It's Gib. Gib texted Lori, I do believe. Blank texted Lori asking, "Are you still are they, oh my God, are they there still?" 7/9/2019 at 7:55 p.m. Gib again texted Lori asking, "I'm waiting at your house, so let me know when you are ready for me to come in." How desperate do you have to be there? Oh, looky-loo. Anyways, July 9th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. Lori to Melanie. And that looks longer than just this little redaction here, so I'm thinking Boudreaux. "You can't go tomorrow. It's a setup for both of us. Still on the phone finding out the details." From who? Chad, right? I would think. 7/9/2019 at 8:01 p.m. Lori to Melanie Pulowski, Boudreaux. "They have an elaborate plan. I'll call you soon." They, right? I guess Adam and Charles, right? 7/9/2019 at 8:03 p.m. Lori would finally respond to, I'm going to say Gib, by stating, "I'm in the backyard on an important call. You can come back. You can come back here quietly, ? Lori was still on the phone with Chad at this time. July 9, 2019 at 8:05 p.m. Melanie Boudreaux sent Lori a text that read, quote, "I could take all the babies with and drive. And take our stuff." I wonder what stuff they were talking about. Seemed like there was already a conversation, a game plan, so to speak. Now I'm realizing this right here, just reading it to you. It just is a theme you pick up on, and I could take and drive where, and what stuff? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? So it just seems like there's already been discussion about this. July 9, 2019 at 8:06 p.m. Lori responded by stating, "You can't go at all. We both need to stay here to defend ourselves. So, I mean, is the shit hitting the fan for Melanie Boudreaux too? Is that a plan too? You know, if you really think about that, why would Lori have to I mean, why would Melanie Pulowski need to stay there to defend herself? Do you see what I'm saying? This is a Lori problem if Charles is coming to town and he was just going to take his son to school and then go, you know, look at houses to rent so that he could live there, you know, and they could co-parent. I'm just saying. So it sounds like there was an elaborate, I'm just saying, it sounds like there's already a conspiracy that is, you know, making, let me light a cigarette. Okay. We're almost done. You can't. Okay. So we both need to stay here to defend ourselves. 7/9/2019 at 8:07 p.m. Lori added, quote, "It's coming to a head. This week will change everything." And this is the truest statement I think Lori Vallow has ever said throughout this entire thing. And it did. It changed every damn thing. Thank you, asshole. Anyway, 7/9/2019 at 8:08 p.m. Melanie Boudreaux responded, quote, "Probably why I felt sick about going, even when told to plan to go." By whom? You can't decide to go. You're told to go. Who was getting married? Anyways, let me shut up. All right. July 9th, 2019 at 8:14 p.m. Lori sent Melanie a text that simply said, "Call me." This would signify that she was off the phone with Chad. So they have records of Lori talking to Chad this whole time, with Chad and able to speak. According to Lori's phone record, she spoke with Melanie from 8:15 p.m. to approximately 8:30 p.m. So 15 minutes. After this phone call, Melanie and Lori shared SMS messages. I miss this part all the times, I guess. It was just interesting. So Lori and Melanie Boudreaux are talking and sharing SMS messages talking about Brandon Boudreaux and his dark spirit. I'm just like, well, damn, you know, they both talking about it. Melanie. Lori encouraged Melanie to keep blank. Okay. Melanie and Brandon's daughter away from Brandon. Common tactic that Lori Lorehor likes to use, right? She likes to, this is a theme in Lori's bullshit. Okay. It's every time there's a kid exchange, somebody that she's against, somebody that she's at war with, or co-parenting with, she plays the kid as a pawn. And it's a theme that goes through Lori's little love life there with co-parenting with her, with Joe, with Charles, with Brandon. Okay. Joe was attacked by a stun gun and Alex Cuckoo Cox. Okay. During a kid exchange. Okay. Then Charles, he was murdered during a kid exchange. And Brandon had just done a kid exchange and went to the gym, returned home, and was turning into his driveway when he got shot at by Alex Cuckoo Cox. Theme. Anyway, so Lori encouraged Melanie to keep blank Melanie and Brandon's daughter away from Brandon. So, I mean, sounds like she got a beef with him. At 9:16 p.m., Lori sent Melanie a message that read, Lori sent it. "They are gathering witnesses." I'm sorry, I can't talk. "They are gathering witnesses. It's just like Twilight. They are the vulture." I was like, oh my God. She really does like Twilight, you know? So I don't know if y'all knew this. Like I don't know if Annie's ever said it in the document. I don't know. Anyways, it's the first time I did because I just thought that was interesting. That's on page 440 of, let me see. Do I have this shared? That way I'll share the link. Oh, hello. Okay, move. Link for viewing, file settings. People with this. Okay, back. Let me share it. Create a copy link. Okay, And so you can go, I'm going to put this in the chat when I get back over there, and I'll read the rest of this page. It says, 7/9/2019 at 9:03 p.m., Lori advised Alex of the conflict. What conflict? She sent him a text thread that read, "So the plot thickens. Call me when you can." Question mark. 7/9/2019 at 9:03 p.m., Alex called Lori, and the two talked for 3 minutes. Alex phone records. So that's where they got that from. So I wonder if Lori deleted it. Alex called Lori. Oh, okay, I already said that. Between 9:03 p.m. and 9:50 p.m., Lori exchanged individual SMS messages between Chad, Melanie, and Alex. That sounds like a conspiracy. That sounds like some collusion right there. Just saying. The actual messages between Lori and Alex and Lori and Melanie remained on the blank iCloud account. However, there is no visible messages. There is no visible message content between Lori and Chad on the blank iCloud account during this time frame. SMS messages between Lori and Chad did not appear on the Lolly Time account until 7/13/2019. So what do you think was going on there, right? Which I'll have to go and pull some video and audio from Lori's trial and Chad's trial from the detectives that testified there, because I think that'll help it'll help make me feel more secure. All Lori can say is it was self-defense. I hope, with her being charged with first degree with Charles's murder, I'm just wondering, like, what do they have that they can convict her? Anyways, I think Jason explained that to me. I'm kind of confusing some things right now, so I'm sorry. So okay, let me finish this one. 7/9/2019 at 9:50 p.m. Lori sent Alex an SMS message that read, "Getting sleepy, so I'm going to need you to stay close to me the next couple of days. Mel too. She can't go to Utah. They are planning some kind of intervention, but want Mel out of the way, so I'm left alone. I need to come get the stuff. I want to know what this stuff is." Melanie Boudreaux's wanting to take the kids. Do you want me to take the kids and bring the stuff? And then she's talking about getting the stuff at your house tomorrow and secure it. So what stuff does Alex have? And you know what I mean? Like, is this the same stuff? Lots to do. Thank you for standing by me. It's all coming to a head this week. I will be like Nephi, I am told, and so will you. Well, and I've been pulling those scriptures too, so we'll integrate those. Alex called Lori again, and the two would talk for over 56 minutes. The following day, Lori would have lunch with Alex and Melanie. There you go. I mean, come on. How many party plannings do we have here? Text messages. I'm sorry. And then they went over to Summer's house. So that's awesome. The following day, Lori would have lunch with Alex and Melanie. So this is 7/10. Okay. So this is the day before my Uncle Charles was murdered. They're colluding here. Lori and Alex would then go over to Summer's house. Lori and Alex. Lori's sister. Text messages between Lori and Summer indicated that Summer knew of the intervention and was providing information to Lori about Adam once he arrived in Phoenix. So you got Janet. I'm sorry, Janet. I always say Janet. You have Janice in the background. Okay. Where she is reporting, she even asked Lori at some point in time, she says, "Do you want me to basically keep tabs on him? Oh no, you want me to run interference?" Anyways. And so you have basically, I think, this is my opinion, I think that Janice was in the mix as well. And she was also, maybe sending information to Summer. Summer was maybe sending it to Lori and Alex, just the whereabouts of people. And, everybody's out to get them, right? It's just, it's all me, 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 me. They're narcissists, in my opinion. So I'm just saying they love to be persecuted. They love the persecution complex big time. Ugh, so gross. So that's just text messages between Lori and Summer indicated that Summer knew of the intervention. and was providing information to Lori about Adam once he arrived in Phoenix. In reviewing Lori's cellular phone record, she had contact with only Chad, Phoebe, which is Melanie Gibb, Melanie Boudreaux, Charles, Summer, and Alex during the hours leading up to and following the discovery of the intervention. July 9, 2019, Melanie Gibbs spent the night at Lori's residence. July 10, 2019, Lori woke up and told Melanie that she needed to leave. I don't blame her. She stated that Charles was coming to town and he was going to kill her. July 10th. Oh, also July 9th. I need to add right here. Chad did a podcast with that guy, Paul Pulsifer, that I've been telling you guys about, over time. He's also from Provo. His wife died I want to say within days of Tammy Daybell. I'm just saying. She wrote about portals and stuff too. And he also commented under Melanie Gibbs' comment about staying outside of the box, so to speak. Staying out of the box. It's a whole Val Brinkerhoff thing, 7witnesses.com. And it's a secret society, basically. And so, but Paul messaged underneath Melanie Gibbs' Facebook post on September 8th or 9th or 7th. It's one of those days. I'm sorry. I'm doing this off memory. And he was thanking her for the feast. And so there you go. You think about it. That's the same time that Operation Underground Railroad was sponsored by Chad's company, the weekend that Tylee was murdered, and Chad wasn't there, but Tammy didn't run in the race. We have pictures of, corroborating that now. She was at the race, but I was always under the assumption that she ran too, but she didn't. And so if we just get over that little inconsistency, because they are telling the truth in this aspect of it. Chad and Tammy's company, Spring Creek Book Company, sponsored Tim Ballard's organization. Okay, the weekend that Tylee was murdered. You ever heard of human hunting? Look it up. Human hunting. It's disgusting. And I just can't get that out of my head. But anyways. And I think that's why they went to the park, the national park. Anyways. Oh. But so Chad did a podcast with Paul Pulsifer, and the theme Chad talked about was patience, of all things. This is leading up to the end of My Uncle that Chad was so jealous of, right? So let me grab this again. I'll just make sure. Copy link. Okay. Allegedly. Come on. Oh, okay. It's down there. My bad. All right. Let me go put this in the chat. And oh, shit. I pushed the wrong button. Hold on. I'm freaking out. Let's see. Oh, my gosh. Okay. I was on the wrong screen. And so I pushed it. And I was like, uh-oh. But here's the link where you can go and check these documents out yourself. And we will go more from that too. Yeah. Yes. Huggy Bear. Don't think I wasn't on that like white on rice. High-powered weapons out of a fucking helicopter. Pigs. Who goes and shoots? Anyways, I'm sure people do. But was it pigs? Was it pigs? Was it? Just saying. I'm so glad you caught that. I'm so glad. Oof, my ear ringing really bad. Chrome stuff. There you go. Yeah, Chrome stuff. Google Chrome. We'll use their own damn words. It's crazy. I did find a really good, it's like a 20-minute video about, and it goes into the background of it. And because, that's what I've heard people discount the whole Drano, Chrome, whatever thing. And I'm just like, I just didn't know what do I do with that. But I've been reading some documents that I found you can go to Scribed and you can find all kinds of documents, PDFs galore. And because I really think that that's what happened with JJ. I think that he was tortured. I do. And I don't know how they do it. I don't know. I wasn't there again. Okay. Thank God. Well, I say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, they increased the torture. We know that, like, the way Lori stripped the kids of everything, every comfort, every normal thing, every bit of comfort and stability and normalcy, friends. She stripped, Charles away. She stripped everybody, she stripped Tylee's phone, her Jeep, moved them. I mean, every uncomfortable thing I can imagine as an adult, much less as a child. This is the torture. This is them turning the pain up. This is Chad wanting to turn the pain. This is them wanting to turn the pain up. Okay. And that way they can feast, so to speak. Okay. That's my little conspiracy. That's how I see it going down. And I mean, there's so many kids like this. I think that the bag may have been put on JJ's head. I actually ran across a freaking, oh my God, this freaked me out. Maybe again, there's things that my brain allows in, and there's a lot of things that my brain does not. So that's why, so I ran across Joseph Scott Morgan when he was on Court TV. This was during Lori. Was it Lori's? I don't remember if it was Lori's or Chad's trial. But this is the first time I ever heard him posit, or anybody posit this, okay? He said he said something because of the scratch marks on JJ's neck and how there was blood that I don't know. Anyways, but he basically said that, so trigger warning, sorry, it sucks. I don't even know how to repeat it. That JJ could have maybe possibly been alive, buried alive. Okay, so there's that part. And then died, right. And then, so that had just never entered my mind. And so when I heard that, I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. That just fragmented my brain. These kids suffer way too much. And these people don't deserve to live, in my opinion. Especially when, you just think about those little things too. That would have been Tylee's Drano. My opinion, just my theory. It resonates, like just with the things that I've seen when you collectively, and then when you kind of put them into context and the bigger picture, then it's not good. Very evil and very sad. And I feel terrible that I couldn't, that I didn't know, or that I wasn't involved, or, you know what I mean? Like, I wish there was something that I could have done. I know that that's not possible. I know it's not a possibility. I get it. But there's something I can do now, and that's learn all the uncomfortable details that I'm sure go on. I don't know if they did or not. I don't know if I'll ever find out the absolute truth. But I just want to do my due diligence. That's what we all want, right? I know, right? Because I'm like, but then where's the blood? Where's all the crime scene? Where's the freaking Tylee was dismembered? You can't tell me they dismembered that girl in the apartment. Where's and Chad? Like his little all the areas he could have. The next thought was just like, okay, Chad's barn. But then I really do. This is just my theory. Don't hold it against me, y'all. I think that these gatherings are beneficial for people of like mind who participate in these kind of things, who benefit from the things that they get from these kids who are being tortured and get these hormones. Y'all know that video clip that I found of of Tim Ballard mentioning Tom Harrison's name and let me grab it. I'm going to grab it because it goes. medical. It's a medical society. Mhm. Here we go. Hold on. Once I find it in the transcript, then I will put it on that screen. Oh, I'm like, please have a transcript. Control F and hormones. Oh, hold on. 15. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, share this tab. Fix. Oh, it gets so windy out there. And I just find this super telling, okay? Because he's talking about not about rescuing children, he's talking about service, okay? Which that again, what they're saying and what they're doing are two different things. This is where he mentions Tom Harrison's name, old Daddy Tom.
Oh. Do you remember when he gives Jack Black a blessing in the elevator? This is what I'm thinking is about to happen.
Tony Robbins now.
Right? Remember this movie, Shallow Hal?
I got one. I got Devils, come out! What the hell are you doing, banana hands?
It's a big clip.
Okay, so that's my vision of what's about to happen to me and Banana Hands. So we walk in there, and I won't go to the whole thing, but basically he put me through this meditative state, prayerful meditative state. But he got me to think about all the times when either I gave or someone gave to me, just charitable experiences. And by the time he was done and I was fully engrossed in those memories, something happened to me. My entire body was filled with the very thing that happened to me on the 4th Street exit. I felt happy. I felt optimistic. I felt courageous. I felt creative. I remember thinking, I want to go run a marathon right now. I said, what is happening? What is this? And he says, Tim, it's all scientific. And he pointed me to the research.
He's not that kind of doctor.
This is awesome to be with a bunch of medical professionals, because you probably know a lot of this research. That what happens when you serve and when you give of yourself, your brain actually releases.
You saw his little Satan sign? I just saw it too.
Chemical cocktail of endorphins and dopamine and.
Sorry, I talked way over that.
Happens. Your brain actually releases this beautiful chemical cocktail of endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin. And I started doing this research, and it was incredible. I talked to one professional who works on healing the brains of children who we rescue, and on the aftercare side. And I asked him, I said, "Is this true?"
They don't have aftercare.
This feels true. Tony said it's true, and this is what he told me. He said the research on this is conclusive through ongoing acts of service, charity, thoughts of kindness, and gratitude. And by the way, prayer is most the professionals say that is in that list too. The brain releases this powerful cocktail of chemicals, which includes oxytocin, endorphins, etc. These chemicals, in turn, produce in the recipient positive benefits, which can produce higher levels of achievement, increased creativity, positivity, optimism for the future, and enhanced team unity. And, and as I learned this and thought of what Tony was teaching me and my own experience, even though I didn't know what it was, I thought this is a gift. Because who doesn't want these? And who doesn't want your family members, your employees, your children, your spouse to have these? These are attributes. You can't give someone a book and say, be creative. Read this and be creative. Be optimistic. Be a team player. Have unity. These are, you can't really just train yourself very easily to have these such important attributes. And Tony Robbins says all his success comes from this secret. He's constantly filled with these positive chemicals. And again, I'm a person of faith, and I to me, what you're doing when you're doing this is God's way, I think, to prepare your body physically to open up and soften up and open up to commune with heaven.
Mm-hmm. This is
so I thought about these principles, and I thought, who wouldn't want these things? And I started thinking about how do you prove this model?
Like
and I thought through my career, how many times?
I hate this damn mouse. Right there where he said shit, I already forgot. It makes you commune with heaven. This is something I've read about with these other satanic ritual or ritual abuse cases that I read about. That's why they do the Drano thing. Okay. So that they can commune with heaven. Look, you communing now. Communion. Ew. Ew. Ugh.
And so I think to prepare your body physically to open up and soften up and open up to commune with heaven. And so I thought about these principles and I thought,
And then
who wouldn't
exploit
want
it.
these things? And I started thinking about how do you prove this model? And I thought through my career, how many times I've proven this model out. Again,
Right.
I am no master of this principle. I just believe in it. I know it's a true principle and I know it's applicable to everybody. I'm going to tell you a story about a major operation we did where this principle was
But you see how they get away with
in my
it?
mind. It was an operation. It turned out to be the biggest rescue operation that we ever, I
Where's
think,
all
in
the
the history
kids?
of the world. Okay, we ended up rescuing over 120 children, 15 traffickers, and the only way we did it was through the application of this principle. To introduce the case to you, I'm going to.
Yeah, we're just gonna shut you down, dude. You don't deserve a freaking platform to speak your spew. Right? I mean, I'm just saying these are things that I'm like, okay, I know these aren't mainstream. These aren't in the court case, these aren't in the trials, these aren't in mainstream. Okay, it's not. These are things that I'm sure other members of family members who have lost a loved one due to occult secret society, whatever. These kind of people, this is where we dig in. So to me, I don't know. And that's a whole nother speech. I forgot. There's another one where he mentioned Tom Harrison, and that's, Lauren and Megan shared it on Mormon Stories podcast and the Hidden True Crime channel about that big expose they did about Tim Ballard and Tom Harrison. Okay. I mean, they actually ordained they ordained Tim with the priesthood blessings, okay, that he was going to become the future prophet of the Mormon Church, that he was going to be the future president of the United States. He tried running for Senate, but he blamed it on his victims, okay? He said that, they always spew that, by the way. But but I mean, that's a conflict of interest right there because that's church and state. Just saying. President and prophet? I don't think so, dude. So I think that, Tim Ballard was created, so to speak, a little Manchurian. And I think that it was tried also with Mitt Romney. And I think that they continue to try. Joseph Smith ran for president, okay? Back in the day. They're Freemasons, Joe. There's not one president that hadn't been a Freemason that I am aware of. I do believe they are all, a lot of them are related too. But where's that one thing? Oh, right here. The priesthood blessings that we've read, they're ordaining. So, I mean, here's your cult leader. Why is this not being called out? Why is Chad Daybell being called a cult leader? I'm just saying. Just saying. That's why I just don't want her to hurt anybody else. If she wants me gone, fine. I can do all that stuff. She's my wife. I love her to death. Something's gone wrong. I just want her to get help. This is where I see like just that energy, all that just leave him, where he is just at the end of his rope. He don't know what else to do. It's just the end. But those all took, the back seat to everything. It's like that enabled this one right here to do what she did, in my opinion. So anyways, but we're going to leave on a happy note because I have Tylee and her friend. They did a video together a long time ago. And they're just being silly. They had started a channel, and it was a kids channel, but anyways, so we'll end with Tylee just being her bubbly self, you know, with her friends, not having to be a parent or anything to her mother or JJ. You know what I mean? Like it's so sad. It really is. But anyway, but this is why we do what we do. Thank you to those who send a super chat. I really do appreciate you and appreciate that. The help. We're getting close to trial time. I just want to get there. That's all. I'm a very thrifty person, so I can do bare minimal. But anyway, so justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins, and you guys are proof of this.
I'm Tylee, and this is our channel. Okay, this is our first video. Yeah. So we wanted to explain to you guys for the first part what our channel is, what we'll be doing, things like that. So our name is Rain X Ryan because my middle name is Rain and her last name is Ryan. And so we just that's together and yeah. And then our channel is gonna be full of like videos like tutorials, vlogs, Q&As, rants, challenges, and arguing. Yeah. Basically anything we feel like on the day we are going to film. So because we're indecisive and have no life. So this channel's probably gonna be a really big mess of different things, but that's okay. It's a hot mess. Like us. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's get on to the actual video that you guys came to see. Bye guys!
That was precious. Oh my God, just some giggly girls, right? Anyways, all right. Bye, guys. Love you. See you. Bring you to the next rabbit hole.